E3 has been a very exciting time for the Battlefield franchise. Lots of cool information coming out about the game, lots of neat details and gameplay. But we might have forgotten about Battlefield 1 in that period of time. In fact, right around when EA Play kicked off, a bunch of new guns were added into the Battlefield 1 CTE, and some of them are actually pretty interesting. This one here is a brand new Burton machine gun, which actually has 2 crazy magazines loaded into the top. And what's more is DICE has given each magazine different types of ammunition. Now, in terms of fighting infantry, I don't know if there's a huge difference in which type of ammo you're using, but one of them fires incendiary rounds. This will not catch infantry on fire, but allegedly will deal extra damage to aircraft. So since support have always been somewhat decent at trying to fight some of the more lightly armored aircraft in the game, this weapon could actually provide a pretty substantial defense against them with the support class. Switching between the magazines is done by hitting the alternate fire button, which might cycle through your fire rates on other weapons. If you're playing on a map that doesn't have any aircraft, you can use this button to quickly switch to an alternate magazine and continue fighting with the weapon. It will be quicker than a reload. So there are some benefits to using it on maps that don't necessarily have aircraft, but regardless, it's a crazy looking machine gun, and I'm excited to see it added to the game to see if those incendiary rounds actually do end up being a really good countermeasure to aircraft. Now, another really cool update to the game is that the General Loose Storm has been given an alternate fire mode. Generally speaking, it fires in this semi-automatic fashion. It's pretty good in semi-auto actually. Comes with 6 rounds in a magazine, but if it's switched into the alternate fire mode, it fires like a bolt-action rifle and actually does the damage of a bolt-action rifle. Sure, it's got iron sights, but it can one-shot headshot, it can two-shot body shot at a range. It makes it an incredibly versatile weapon, and really it gives the medic class its only bolt-action equivalent. And that's really cool. I like this update a lot. It's adding a lot of variety to the weapons in Battlefield 1, and this one here gives the medic class something that it never had access to before. I already liked the general loot to begin with, and now it gives me the option to be far more effective at long-range targets, or if I see a few stationary guys, rather than wasting my 6-round magazine on them, I can switch to bolt mode and shoot them in the head for easy one-shot takedowns. Also, you might have noticed a suppressed M1911. Yep, there is now a suppressed version of this pistol in the game, so my favorite pistol just got a little bit better. Actually, I don't know what the actual stats are for the suppressed variant, but so far it's winning on the cool factor alone. The recently added SMG for the assault class, the Annihilator, or the SMG 1919, which are essentially the same guns, just with slightly different properties. There's now a new variant on the standard Annihilator, which is the Annihilator Storm that I'm playing around with here. It's good. The first Annihilator was good. Extremely high rate of fire, smaller 20-round magazine, but a decently fast reload speed. A very, very effective SMG for close quarters, both hipfire and aiming down sights. Not a lot not to like with this gun. And then finally, the last change to the weapons is that the tanker and pilot exclusive weapons have now been available to the assault and support classes. Not all of them, they've been divided between the assault and support classes. But basically, yeah, if you've been frustrated that you couldn't use some of the interesting or more unique pilot and tanker weapons, well, they're coming to these main classes now as primary weapons. So if you want to use your sawed-off shotgun but don't want to have to bail out of a tank or a plane to get it, well, now you have the option to do so. If you want your little G18 equivalent auto pistol, you can spawn with that as well. So this will be interesting. The guns will definitely get a lot more usage, as that was one of my main issues with DICE coming out with brand new weapons for those classes, as they barely got any use. We should hopefully be seeing a little bit more use out of them, although I don't know how they're going to stack up to the effectiveness of the current primaries in the game. Quite a few bugs are being addressed in this latest CTE patch as well, least of which is the fact that the rank climb from rank 140 to rank 141 is insanely high. That is not by design. DICE, for whatever reason, made some crazy high experience bump, and then after rank 141, it gets a lot easier, which is weird. So it gets harder, then easier, then harder again. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They're fixing that. I hope that all the experience I gained while climbing from rank 140 to 141 does not get lost with the patch, and after the patch drops, maybe I'll gain a few extra ranks on my climb to 150, since it does take a while to get there, and I hope that all the time and experience I gained is not lost. Now, aside from a bunch of other bug fixes, I actually really like that DICE is coming out with incremental patches that even add new weapons to the game. Some of them are just new variations of existing weapons or adding alternate fire modes. Even a suppressed 1911 is kind of an exciting update, but they also did add in a fully new weapon to the game, and that's cool. I like this. They're doing a really good job of continuing to add content to the game on the way to Battlefield 5. If you've been keeping up with the actual Road to Battlefield 5 progression tree that DICE has set up, there's a lot of new skins, a lot of easy to get scraps now, so if you're really interested in sort of maxing out your skins and some of your player customization in BF1, there's a lot you can do now. Stage 1 is almost over. I would recommend, especially if you are a big fan of Battlefield 1, playing on the 19th, or at least slightly right after the 19th, to unlock this cool weapon skin for the 1911 pistol. It's going to be one of the best weapon skins, I think, so that'll be a good, easy way to get it. There is going to be a stage 2, I believe, also for the Road to Battlefield 5. I don't know what they're going to add to the game, but if it's new weapons, new skins, all that kind of stuff, it's exciting. Now, something interesting that I wanted to bring up in the last little bit of this video here was a question that I sort of wanted to address a little bit, as somebody in my stream brought it up, which was, are you going to play Battlefield 1 after Battlefield 5 comes out? Is anyone going to play Battlefield 1 after Battlefield 5 comes out? Clearly, there's some historical interest in the World War I theater of war, but can World War I really hold up to the World War II interest? Sure, there's going to be some people playing Battlefield 4 still because it's a modern military shooter, and there's a big audience of people who want to play modern military shooters, but for the historical audience, Battlefield 5 seems like it's going to be an improvement over Battlefield 1 in just about every single way. Weapon mechanics, potentially map design, visual fidelity. Will there be a huge reason to go back to Battlefield 1? That's one that I honestly can't answer personally if I will be going back. Maybe there'll be something about BF5 that irks me, and I'll just want some of the core BF1 mechanics that I enjoyed on certain maps. Like, I really like playing St. Quentin Scar in other certain maps. I think some of them play out really nicely in Battlefield 1. But if BF5 does improve upon the franchise in just about every single way, there really might not be much of a need to go back. Kind of like with Battlefield 4 trying to improve upon Battlefield 3 in just about every way. There wasn't a huge incentive to go back and play BF3. I mean, they were so similar in so many ways. When Battlefield 4 first came out, they just called it Battlefield 3.5, myself included. And there are some subtle differences and some key things that I liked about BF3 more than BF4, which brought me back on occasion, but it is an interesting thing to think about. Will Battlefield 1 basically just die off right away because Battlefield 5 is going to be so much superior? Something that I think will be really interesting is comparing some of the weapons that are going to cross over between the two games. We already know that the Lewis machine gun is coming back in Battlefield 5 because even though it was kind of outdated by the time of World War II, a lot of them were re-enlisted because the Brits needed weapons. They lost weapons during the war, during shipping and all that kind of stuff, and they just needed to redeploy a whole bunch of machine guns. So the Lewis came back. We can get the exclusive Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5 skin that's going to translate between the two games, but I'm very curious to see how the actual weapon properties and recoil properties change between the games. That'll be interesting to do, like maybe a side-by-side comparison at some point. Anyway, it's good to see DICE continuing to add content to Battlefield 1, adding value to the game for those of us who still play it or still enjoy BF1. I will keep you guys updated on all BF1 news and, of course, all Battlefield 5 news as it comes to us. Hopefully, there's quite a few more stages to the road to Battlefield 5 and a lot more stuff to unlock. I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.